On our show, we live by the ethos that animals make the world a better place. But we know there are so many far less fortunate than the ones we get to come home to every day that are dealing with terrible conditions. We also know that Hills are committed to providing not only the best nutrition for cats and dogs, but a range of very different looking animals as well. I'm talking about pangolins, dikkerkoppe, hedgehogs, wild dogs, and even the penguins here at SANCCOB. As we speak, there is a drama unfolding here. Hundreds of lesser flamingo chicks are currently being hand-reared and rehabilitated as we speak. At the heart of this remarkable feat of conservation, a pretty remarkable story. Recently, nearly 2,000 flamingo chicks were rescued in Kimberley when their dam was found to be almost empty. So what happened with the water levels dangerously low, their flamingo parents had to move on, leaving the chicks behind. Hundreds of hatchlings were left dehydrated, starving, and on the verge of death until help arrived. And behind me is an area housing some of the most at-risk young chicks in a sterile and safe environment. When we arrived here at SANCCOB, what blew me away was how many of these chicks are being housed here, being rescued, rehabilitated in this area. It's quite a feat. And for them to turn around their operations, deal with something quite different to the African penguin that they normally house and rehabilitate here, it really is a marvel of logistics as much as conservation.
So the rehabilitation of these flamingo chicks has been quite a learning curve, I think, for all of us. So SANCCOB only stepped in once the birds were already rescued from Campus Dam. So we received these chicks that were tiny. It has had its ups and downs. We've had quite a few mortalities, but we've also had some beautiful chicks that now go outside, try to feed themselves, are just really thriving, and hopefully they'll be released back into the wild. Our day here at SANCCOB currently starts really early, so the first feed is between 6 and 7, and to be able to feed, obviously all the food has to be prepared, so there's people making up the food before, filling syringes, seeing that all the medication is prepared for the chicks. Then there's an early morning feed. Birds also get weighed because we feed the birds according to their body weight. The weights get measured and then the feeds get calculated. And then it just continues with cleaning, moving the birds to the outside, calculating the next feed, making new food, and it only ends relatively late at night.
It hits home immediately when you see them how unbelievably vulnerable they are, certainly at this stage of their development. It is so inspiring to see people come together in this sort of way so quickly to help protect a species that really needs that assistance. But it's also the bigger message that it's sending out about needing to protect the areas where birds like the lesser flamingo exist in the wild. So once they've had their broad-spectrum antibiotics, we know that every one of these chicks is fitted with a transponder. We saw them being weighed. That's so they can be weighed again the following day, and those weights can be compared so they know how much feed to be given. And you can see Cindy masterfully giving them this superfood flamingo juice that they do need every day. In fact, they get about 10% of their own body weight every single day. That's if they're growing according to plan. And judging by the noise and how eagerly they embrace the process, these are some hungry youngsters. Well, these noisy little guys clearly enjoy stretching their legs outdoors. It's worth noting that flamingo chicks are actually born with white and grey, much fluffier plumage. It takes up to 3 years for them to develop their iconic red, pink or orange adult plumage. Their feathers at this stage far less structured and obviously a lot fluffier, which provides excellent insulation to keep them warm. And I have to say, makes them look a lot cuter. You might have also noticed that the handlers are dressed in a shocking bright pink outfit. It's not a fashion choice. They actually do that to aid with the imprinting process. In the wild, these chicks would imprint on other wild flamingos. And what they see when they're being fed now is the black glove, which forms a beak, the pink armband, which forms a long, slender pink neck, and the pink body. Exactly what an adult flamingo would look like in the wild.
The idea is to move these chicks once they're able to feed for themselves to move them back where there is a flock of adults, because they will then join the flock of adults, and if, for example, the dam goes dry and the adult flamingos move to a different site, these chicks can then fly with the adults. So currently it looks like it will be camphor dam, but it might still change depending on the conditions at the dam.
There are so many ways that we can help out. They need stuff, and a lot of it. Non-slip mats, non-slip trays, containers for prepared formula, 2-litre jugs with lids on, 5-litre bottles of water, paper towels, newspapers, you name it. But you can also come and volunteer your time. And while they've got the experts to look after the birds, where they really need our help is volunteering with things like preparing food and just doing something as simple as laundry. You really can be a part of this amazing story.
Science is at the heart of biology-based nutrition. The secret to lifelong health, it all starts with science.